to make puppets and practice and audition. And here we are ready to perform. I'd like to introduce Robert. Robert is our director from Tears of Joy Theater, and I'll let him take over.
Hey guys, welcome. Thanks for everyone for coming. I know it's not easy to get away in the middle of the day. We have a pretty special puppet show here. We at Tears of Joy, we do puppet shows from around the world, and we try to bring different cultures to all the different schools around here, and to actually do puppet shows from around the world with our main stage productions at the Winning Stab Theater in downtown Portland, the PCPA on Broadway. And come the winter time, we're going to be starting right back, or the fall time actually, we're going to be starting right back up again with our full-on professional puppet shows with our full-on professional puppeteers. So if your kids have fallen in love with puppetry, it's nice to go see a show every now and then at the PCPA and see how the big boys do it. But today, on the docket, we have the story of Momotaro, which is a story that comes from Japan. And Momotaro means Momotaro means the peach boy. So Momo means peach in Japanese, and Taro means boy. And there are a few more Japanese words you have to know before our play can start, okay? The next Japanese word is Oni. And the Oni are ogres. Oni, will you show yourselves? Pop up, Oni. Poof. Well, we have many ferocious on the Oni. Pop back down. Ready position. Thank you very much. So, the next word that's very important, probably the most important word in our play, is kibidongo.
Kibidongo makes you strong.
Kibidongo is kind of like mochi or rice cake, but instead of being made of rice, it's made out of millet. It's an old type of food, and millet's an ancient, tiny, teeny, tiny grain from Africa that's very nutritious. And like we said, kibidongo
Makes you strong.
That's right. Kibidongo makes you very strong indeed. So without too much further ado, here is Momotaro the Peach Boy. In a small village in Japan, there lived an old man and an old woman. Stand up, guys. They were very hardworking. The old man would chop the wood.
Jump, 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 jump.
And the old woman would wash the clothes.
Wash, wash, wash.
But they were very lonely because they never had a child of their own. The old man would say, I wish we had a son. Oh, what? Nice and loud. I wish we had. And the old woman would say, oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
One day, the old man went to the forest to chop some wood.
Jump, jump, jump.
And the old woman went to the river to wash some clothes.
Wash, wash, wash.
When a large peach came floating down the river. The old woman jumped into the river, grabbed the peach, and brought it to shore, and then called for her husband.
Husband, come see this peach. A peach. A peach.
Oh. The old man was very excited to see the delicious-looking peach. He said, what a delicious-looking peach!
What a delicious looking peach.
And the old woman said, let's eat it for dinner.
Let's eat it for dinner.
So the old man lifted his axe to chop the peach in half. When he heard a small voice, the old man was very scared. Ah, a talking fruit!
Ah, that's fruit.
The old man lifted his axe to chop the peach in half once more, when suddenly the peach bounced and jumped and split in half, and out jumped a little boy. Hello, Mom. Hello, Dad. I'm Momotaro the Peach Boy.
Oh, Mom. Oh, Dad. I'm a little peach boy.
The old man said, a son!
A son.
The old woman said, we always wanted a child.
We always wanted a child.
The new family was so happy that they threw a huge party and all danced and had an enormous feast of kibidongo.
Kibidongo makes you strong.
Momotaro grew very strong indeed. And by the time he was about 15 years old, he came to his mom and dad and said,
Mom, Dad, I'm going to Onis. I would fight them.
the old man said,
That's very dangerous.
and the old woman said, I don't know, son, that's very far.
I don't know, son. That's very far.
But they finally agreed, wiped their tears, and sent him packing with his very own sack of kibidongo.
Kibidongo makes you strong.
So the man and the old woman went to bed. And Momotaro set out on his journey. He walked and he walked and he walked until he reached the village, where a pack of dogs jumped out. Some dogs were fast and some dogs were slow. They looked like they might bite Momotaro when he said,
Stop. I'm going to Oni Island to fight the ogres.
the first dog said, the next dog said, arf, arf, can we come too? Arf, arf, can we come too? Right.
Can we come too? Can we come too?
Momotaro said,
Yes.
and fed them all a delicious meal of kibidongo.
Kibidongo makes you strong.
So Momotaro and the dogs went walking, walking, walking. They went walking slowly but surely, went walking, walking, walking. All the way under bridges. Keep going, keep walking, under bridges. Through the town and to the jungle, where a whole pack of monkeys jumped out. They looked like they might scratch Momotaro when he said,
Stop.
I'm going to Oni Island.
I will fight the ogres.
The first monkey said,
Can we come too?
the next monkey said, the next monkey said,
Can we come too?
the next monkey said, the next monkey said, the next monkey said.
Can we come too?
Momotaro said,
Yes.
and fed them all little monkey-sized pieces of kibidongo.
Kibidongo makes you strong.
So Momotaro, the dogs, and the monkeys all went walking, walking, walking. They walked through the jungle, under vines, and under trees, until they reached a rice field, where a whole flock of birds flew out. Squawk, 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 squawk. Now they looked like they might peck Momotaro when he said,
Stop.
I'm going to Oni Island. The first bird stopped in her tracks and said, the next bird said,
Can we come too?
the next bird said,
Can we come too? Can we come too? Can we come too? Can we come too?
Momotaro said,
Yes.
and fed them all little birdie-sized crumbs of kibidongo.
Kibidongo makes you strong.
So Momotaro, the dogs, the monkeys, and the birds all went walking, walking, walking to the very shores of Japan. Even the forgetful birds. Until they reached a boat, where they hopped in and went sailing, 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 do, 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 all the way to the shores of Oni Island, the whole time eating a delicious meal of kibidongo.
Kibidongo makes you strong.
They were becoming very strong warriors indeed. Now, on Oni Island, there are many ferocious Oni. The Oni would growl their terrible growls and laugh their hideous, vicious laughs and sing a ferocious song.
We are the Onis. We are the Onis. We are the Onis.
The Onis looked out to the water and they saw the boat coming to shore. The first Oni said,
I stole all the treasure. It farted.
the next Oni said,
I stole all the treasure.
the next Oni said,
I stole all the treasure.
and the last Oni said,
Stole nothing.
But as the Oni looked out, they looked and they looked, and they noticed the warriors were eating something. Oh no, it can't be. They're eating Kibidongo! The Oni started to shake and to whimper. And I went screaming back to their caves. On to Oni Island landed Momotaro, the dogs, the monkeys, the birds. And when they got there, they scooped up the treasure, hopped back onto their boats, and went sailing, all the way back to the shores of Japan, where they hopped out and ran all the way back to the old man and the old woman. Old man and old woman. Old man and old woman. Old man and old woman. Who were so excited that they threw a huge party and everybody danced. And they had an enormous feast of Kibidongo.
Kibidongo makes you strong.
The end. Everyone stand up, stand up, stand up. So we'll have a brief meet and greet, and you can ask the performers what their motivation was, or if Abraham Lincoln came back in a time machine and asked them what their favorite Otter Pop flavor is, what that would be, or any questions that your hearts desire. So, actors, it's time to greet your public. You may say hello briefly to our audience. Go ahead.
Parents, you're welcome to